So today's demo lesson is all about how to use a versus an with nouns. So if you have been struggling with articles, you're going to love this demo lesson. Now this is technically an introductory lesson for beginner students, but what I've been finding is that a lot of my advanced students have fossilized errors. And so one of my students graduated with a C1 in the test, but she still had trouble with articles. And so I decided to start making demo lessons for more beginner level content to help my students catch up so that they can actually achieve true fluency in English for the workplace. Alright, so see you guys in the video. If that's something you're interested in, make sure you watch this video so you can learn more about how to use a versus an when you're speaking as well as when you're writing in English. Hey, this is Michael with Michael's Business English. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Michael Rincon. I'm a former six-figure data analyst turned career coach and ESL instructor, and I support English language learners improve their career development through communications and language training. If you're new here on this channel, we talk about business English, communications, and career development. So if that's something you're into, make sure you like and subscribe, and all the links that we mentioned in this video you can find in the description box below. Okay, welcome to today's demo lesson, which is a/an with nouns. This is a level A1 lesson. This is for absolute beginners. However, I want to remind you that this may be a good lesson for you even if you're an advanced student, because most of my students, have passed tests, right? They've gotten through the IELTS or the TOEFL or the TOEIC, and they're able to get a visa, they're able to get a job. However, the thing is that most employers still prefer to have someone with good conversational English. It's an important distinction here. It's one thing to pass a test and get a grade. However, most employers are still, unfortunately, for better or for worse, they have bias, and they are looking for people who have good spoken and written English. So making grammatical errors like this can cause problems in the workplace. Okay, so the objectives of today's class are to introduce nouns as a person or thing, to use a/an with a person or thing, to use a/an to say what a person or thing is, and for jobs and professions. Okay, let's begin. So I want you to match the nouns with pictures, right? So this is a warm-up. This is going to be very simple. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Like, what is this? This is a flower. What is this person doing? This person is asking a question. This person is a cat. This person is a house. Now the reason we're asking these questions is, remember, it's warm-up. This is about repetition, right? Like, you look at the greatest athletes of all time, they still go to the gym every single day and practice the fundamentals. So you might be thinking, this is boring, I don't want to do this, I already know this stuff. But the reality is, like, we got to practice the repetition so we get better at this. So here we go again. See this real quick. This is what is this? A11. Notice that we're using A. This is a window. A person, and this is a chair, right? Notice how we're using a, the article, right? A noun is a person or a thing, right? So you might be like, I know this, but do you really? This becomes important, like later on with sentence structure, right? So a plus a noun is one thing, a plus a noun equals one person. A book, a box, a table, a chair, a woman, a man, a child, a student. Okay, let's keep going. Let's do some more. So how do we use a and an? Here we go. This is how we start getting to the exercise where I think people have the problems with. This is articles, right? We use an, which is another article, it's just like a, when the noun begins with a, e, I, o, u, so any of the vowels, right? So otherwise we use a. So a flower, a bank, notice the first letter of the noun, a question, a man. An apple, an elephant, an orange. Notice this distinction, right? When do we use a? When do we use an? Or which should we use those? Like, articles are a challenge I've had with a lot of my students where they struggled using the proper article. and it can cause confusion. It just feels funny to an English speaker. Like when you're talking to someone at work, you say, "Hey, Apple, can I have a Apple? Can you write a email?" Right? Like it's gonna feel funky to language learners. It's gonna feel funky to native English speakers. It's gonna confuse them. It's gonna give you weird looks. Some people are not as bad, but the reality is, like, if you're having problems in the workplace, people are giving you weird looks or making fun of you. This is part of the reason. It's good to be aware of these rules so that you can be more confident in your communications and you can just speak better. Right? You can just do it overall better, and that way you can speak as well as write better. So here's some more exercises, right? So A, we use an apple, an elephant, an island, an orange, an umbrella. So here I want you to practice. So either you're going to use a or an with these nouns. Is it a airport or is it an airport? It's an airport because it starts with a vowel. It starts with a. How about the next one? Is it a car or is it an car? A car or an car? It's a car because it doesn't start with a vowel. It starts with a C. How about a house? Is it a house or is it an house? It starts with an A. It's actually, because it starts with an H, we say a house. Okay, let's keep going. How about this one? Is it a potato or is it an potato? A potato, because it does not start with a vowel. Let's do one more. Is it a umbrella or is it an umbrella? Right, so remember what it starts with a vowel, right? So it's an umbrella. So there's a couple of exceptions, right? For example, when hour, we don't say a hour because there is no H sound, right? So we say an hour. So it's going to take an hour to get there. It'll be done in an hour. We need to have this done in the next hour, right? Like, it's like, that's a different one. That's actually when using the article. But like, when we say hour, we don't use a, and that's because there's no H sound. That's why this one's the exception. Same thing with university. So normally when it's a vowel, we would start with an. But with university, we have a different sound, right? So it has a consonant sound. So we say a university instead of an university, right? Because when we say university, we use a consonant sound, right? So think about university versus umbrella. Like, it just sounds funky, right? That's why we say we go to a university, we not go to an university. Okay, here's some more exercises. So remember, this is a trick one. So is it a hour or is it an hour? We typically say an hour. It'll be ready in an hour. I'll have it in an hour. University. Do we say a university or an university? We say a university. Okay, how about horse? Is it a horse or is it an horse? Right? So remember, we're going back to the normal things now, because remember, hour has the exception to the rule because of how our grammar rules work. So if we go back to hour, we don't like to hear two vowel sounds together, because remember, there's no H sound with hour. That's why we say an hour. Right, so that's why this one's the exception to the rule, because H doesn't have an H sound here. It just says an hour, right? You just took out, if you listen to an hour, like we don't have the H sound there, we just have hour. That's why we do an hour. Same thing with horse. Like horse is different than hour because it has the consonant. So instead of saying on horse, we would say a horse. Okay, let's see what else we can do. So here are some different ways to use a and an. So we use a and to say what a person or thing is, but we also use a/and for jobs and professions, right? So Paris is a city. A bee is an insect, right? Remember, A-E-I-O-U, right? That is a tall building. I am a student. Mike is an electrician. Mike is an electrician. Mike is an electrician. It starts with it. Mike is an electrician. Mike is an electrician. Mike is an electrician. I can't say it right. I'm not sure why. Jacob is a teacher. Okay? Let's see what else we can do. Running out of time. Okay, this is going to be interesting. We're actually short on time. I'll do another one. So here's a gap fill exercise. Right? So I want you to take one of the words and then use the correct article, whether it's a or it's on. Right? So Trish works in. What noun is it? Is it supermarket or motorcycle? Right? So Trish works in. Can't be works in a motorcycle, so it has to be a supermarket. So no, Trish works in a supermarket or on supermarket. So it's a supermarket. What about Stuart? Stuart can ride, so you can't be supermarket where you use it, right? So it has to be motorcycle. Right, so our next question is, Stuart can ride, is it a or on? It's a. I don't know why it's not working. Anyway, let's just read up something. So, a motorcycle. Okay, let's look at the homework group. Okay, so for the homework, it's very simple. It's write a or on in the front of the noun. So remember the rules. So typically, when it's a vowel, it's a consonant in the beginning. Oh, wow, I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind. When it's a vowel, when it's A, E, I, or U in the beginning of the sentence, do we use a or do we use on? We use on. If it's not a vowel, it's a consonant like doctor, we use a. But our is the exception. Right? Our in remember why is our the exception? Because it doesn't have the H sound. And so it's even though it says our, it's spelled with an H, we're looking at a vowel. It's technically, when you look at it from, it sounds like we're saying our. And we don't like to use two vowels together. We don't want to say a hour because it sounds funky, right? It sounds awkward to us. That's why we say an hour. An hour. So it's just a car or un car. Say a car. A table or un table? A table. A violin or un violin? A violin. Is it a answer or unanswer? It is. Unanswered. Can I have an answer? Can I have an answer today? When can I get an answer on this? Right? Do you have an answer? Right? Now, a quick spoiler alert for future second. You might be questioning, what about the article the? When did we use the? And the reason I decided not to cover that is that we're only trying to practice a and an. We'll cover the article the in a future demo lesson. That's a little bit more advanced and it gets more complicated. But understand the big thing is for this one, just focus on when do you use a, when do you use on. Okay? Thanks guys so much for watching this demo lesson. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you guys in the next one. And remember that if you enroll in lessons with Michael's Business English, all lessons are recorded, so you can go back and rewatch the lessons whenever you want. You can watch the lessons, you can review them when you need to, and you get access to the homework, which you can repeat and you can do and get practice and get feedback from your teacher, so you can make sure you're getting the coaching you need to improve your communication skills. Alright guys, thank you. See you guys in the next video.